Hey guys, Dandelions here, and tonight we are going to be playing Cities Skylines II. So, I have never played Cities Skylines II. I spent hundreds of hours in Cities Skylines 1, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. But yeah, I wanted to dive into Cities Skyline 2 and basically build a city from the ground up. Kind of my hope here is to create a series in the city builder that just has some good vibes, relaxing sort of thing. So without further ado, let's get started in Cities Skylines 2. I had already kind of thought about the map that I wanted to play, and I think we're going to start here on Sweeping Plains. This says, the vast ocean can be accessed from multiple smooth beaches nestled between rising cliffs. Opposite the ocean, a long and tall mountain range creates a marvelous landscape. A broad expanse of flat land provides plenty of buildable space between the ocean and the mountains. A single highway runs through the entire length of the map. And one of the reasons I'm picking this map is the climate here. So we're going to range from 24 to 74 degrees Fahrenheit with a moderately wet climate. One of the coolest things that Cities Skylines 2 introduces to the series is seasons that actually change as your city progresses. This map seems like it's going to give us a full view of that with having multiple seasons. We've also got outside connections for highway, rail, ships, airplanes, and electricity, as well as a decent amount of all of the natural resources. We're going to pick that. Our city name is, of course, going to be Dandyville. Right, we're going to leave off the left-hand traffic. I am going to leave on natural disasters. I think they add a certain level of flavor to the game where, if something kind of horrible happens, we can rebuild from it. And then none of the unlocks. We're going to start fresh here. We'll go ahead and restart the tutorials too, so that if you're new to the Cities series, you can learn some things as we go. So let's start her up. Welcome to Cities Skylines 2. This is the place to build the city of your dreams. Take on in-depth challenges of managing city services and directing traffic flow, and follow the lives of your citizens. Tutorials are here to guide you as you take your first steps towards building a city. As you progress, more hints and guidance become available in case you need it. Let's build. That's just about the camera controls. I'll leave that up for a second. Let's get to work. Oh, this I know. Just showing us the basics of how to use the camera. Alright, so it's going to tell us about how cities revolve around roads. American cities certainly do. When you build a road, a cell grid appears on the land next to it. This is the area where you can build on. Most roads also come with a built-in utility network, so that's new for Cities Skylines 2. Network of electric cables and pipes for water and sewage. So all buildings connected to a road with a utility network automatically have a connection to the utilities. They come in different sizes and configurations, ranging from small alleys and one-way streets all the way to large highways. The larger the road, the higher the speed limit and traffic capacity. This is telling us about the two-lane road, basic road with 2 lanes, one in each direction, with street lamps on one side. So these are how we're going to choose the curvature of our roads, whether they're straight, curved, a complex curve, or a freeform road. They can also be different elevations. And you don't have to build those roads. If you want to change them, you can replace them with the replace tool. That's pretty cool. So we can elevate down for tunnels or up for bridges and ramps. Okay, so we can choose how much the elevation changes. So 3.75, what's it doing at max? 30 feet. Okay. That's really cool. So I remember in Cities Skylines 1, building highways was kind of a pain because you had to constantly drag them. But this allows you to do parallel roads. And then some snapping features. All right. So to get your city started and make it grow, you'll need to make it possible for both people and materials to arrive. Look around your map and find the roads that lead in and out of the map area. Start building your city by connecting to and expanding from these roads. All right. What is this, a 4-lane? Can I even build a 4-lane? I can. So, just getting a feel for this plot of land. Okay, so there's our railroad. Wow, this is pretty. This looks really good. All right, so we're going to curve this. We're going to start a curved road here. We're going to go kind of through this forested area, trying not to destroy too many trees. I love the music so far. So we can do a nice little neighborhood here in the trees. All right, it's going to tell us about zoning. So zoning determines what type of buildings are built in the selected area. Buildings in zoned areas get built automatically depending on the city's needs. Areas that are not zoned will remain empty. So zones are divided into groups according to the types of buildings they allow for. This is your way to allot different areas of the city for different uses. And we could choose what theme the zone buildings follow, and that adjusts the visual style of the buildings that get built. So that's really cool. In Cities Skylines 1, you had to kind of mess with that going into your city, like decide what themes your zones were all going to be. And then you could set them per district. It seems now we can just set them per zone, which is excellent. So if I wanted to have a European themed zone in our, North American city here, we could. So low density is for single family homes. All right, so this is telling us how to place our residential in good locations. So good locations being away from industry and pollution, away from the highway. Like, obviously you wouldn't want to live right next to the highway, right? So let's start a nice little neighborhood down here. We don't want to zone directly off this 4-lane road. It would be fine initially, but eventually that would create some traffic problems. So let's start a neighborhood. So that's going to be like the entry road for our subdivision here. I'm going to break off of it. Go all the way out to the edge here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little cul-de-sac. I'm not entirely thrilled with that. I'm gonna try that again. That little part's pretty good. Let's try. There we go. It's a nice little cul-de-sac. Then maybe we'll branch off from it. And then connect down here. We'll come make another cul-de-sac. Not too shabby. And then let's just finally, so this is gonna, these lines are gonna show us the snapping. Oh, that looks ugly. There we go. We have a nice little neighborhood to start with. So we'll zone some residential. I'm not going to zone in the middle of the cul-de-sacs there because, oh, real quick. So it's going to tell us about condemned buildings. They get abandoned for any reason, like they didn't have utilities or the people died, question mark. They'll get abandoned and they'll eventually rebuild themselves, or you can bulldoze them to make that happen faster. All right, so we are still paused, so that's not going to grow yet, but that's going to be our initial little neighborhood here. All right, so zoning commercial. So commercial zones provide space for different types of businesses. Businesses provide services and jobs for the residents and increase city income by paying taxes and fees. So low density is going to start single story or low rise buildings for small businesses. That's going to be like cafes, gas stations, small restaurants, that sort of thing. So we're going to zone some commercial. And what I'm going to do, instead of again zoning that right on the main road, I'm going to create almost a little strip mall here. So now they have two paths to get into this. They can turn in from the main road here or turn in from the main road here and access what I'm going to zone here for businesses. So we've got a decent little maybe mall or something that'll pop up here. So this is telling us about pausing. All right, and then we'll need to zone some industrial. So typically when I'm building a city, this is not the order I would do this. I would set up all my utilities and that sort of stuff first, but I wanted you guys to see how the tutorial naturally progresses. So industrial manufacturing, this type of zone allows for factories, warehouse buildings, things like that. They process materials to create material goods. They can be further processed by other industries and then sold by commercial businesses. So zoning land for industrial will allow those types of buildings to pop up there. They are dependent on materials like we were talking about when we were choosing the map, materials like ore and oil and forestry products and agricultural goods. They can use those and make more money if you're not having to export them. So we get this handy dandy overlay, hot dandy, of wind direction and places that we don't want to pollute. So we want the industry to be downwind of our residential and away from these water. Oh no, those are going to be, groundwater. Okay. So we're going to want to zone our industry away from those. So I'm thinking we create a little industrial complex. Down here, it's downwind of everything. We'll make a nice little square. Again, with 2 entry points, and then we'll drag one across too. This will be our first little industrial complex. That's probably good to start. All right. So zoning demand. This is a mechanic that...
What kind of future does
oh,
music
we're getting
have
our
if it
first
doesn't
radio
look to its past?
broadcast.
Well, I say the question speaks for itself. Here on Second Moon, we know you can't move forward unless you keep both eyes steadily trained on what's behind you.
That was cute. All right. So these zoning demand bars are a mechanic that was frequently misunderstood in the original Cities Skylines game. So at face value, yes, the fuller the bar, the higher the demand is for that zone type. But as far as I understood it, it was demand in relativity to the other zones. So we'll dig more into that. All right, electricity. Obviously, almost everything in the city needs electricity to work. We need to have a well-working electricity grid to keep citizens happy and services running. We've got different sources of electricity. We've got the coal power plant, high voltage, but also generates a lot of pollution. Wind power, green energy, but it's reliant on weather, so you need wind to produce wind power. We can also import power from outside connections, which I do believe we saw we had. But like it says, it can get expensive. So we're going to choose a source of electricity. We are going to go ahead and start with that coal power plant. Ideally, in the future, we will move to a green energy solution. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and start with the coal plant. Downwind from housing and away from water sources. That is far enough. So we can see that the transformer is converting the high voltage electricity into low voltage electricity usable by buildings. And it's going through the roads. That's awesome. So we don't have to build giant power lines or anything like that like we used to. So looks like what we can see from our roads here. Let's go back to the electricity view. Yes, is that these are providing power to what's connected to them. I love that. Excellent. So it shows an overlay. Yep, so that's what we're looking at here. All right, electricity flow is animated to show how much electricity is flowing and where it's going. Low amounts of electricity are shown as short bars. When the electricity flow increases, the bars grow longer. Individual buildings receive only the amount they need. Excellent. Aha, so there's a limit to how much electricity, electric cables, and power lines are able to transfer. The grid will suffer if there's more electricity trying to flow through the cables and lines than they can handle. So it looks like while the view is active, we can hover over. Oh yeah, look, it pops up and shows its capacity. That's excellent. All right, so when an electric cable or line has exceeded maximum capacity, a bottleneck will form. They'll start to block electricity flow and cause buildings down the line not to receive electricity. So to clear the bottleneck and resume electricity service, we'll need to bypass by redirecting electricity flow. All right, so we can use power lines and transformer, because that's where the power lines come in, and transformer stations to be placed in areas that need electricity and connected to the power plant with power lines. Cool. All right, and finally we've got water. Okay, so we did see we have some groundwater deposits, so we can use a groundwater pumping station. Okay, and then if we have open water, which it looks like we do back here, some rivers, we can use a water pumping station. So do they give us the same amount? So that's 26,417,000. Okay, that's only 19,812. And this is cheaper. Okay. So let's build one of those. All right, so these lines here show water directions. So if we build a sewage station, we'll want to build it downstream from the pumping station. Okay, and then we have to use pipes to connect our water pumping station to a road. Okay, it's telling us about the icons for notifications. Oh, I see. We'll have to connect a road to it. All right. So we'll do a nice little, like, we'll do an offshoot. Let's do an offshoot from the industrial complex. I wanted to, yeah, I'm going to avoid hurting these trees. I'll do a nice little loop through here. Oh, I hate that intersection. That's prettier. Oh, and that's cool. We'll end up with some zoning right on the river here. That could end up being neat in the future. All right, telling me there's a tutorial task waiting for me. Yes, I'll get there. I just need to provide my water pumping station with a road. There we go. Seems like it connected automatically. I'm going to go ahead and run this 2-lane road down the shoreline, because I'm sure I'm going to end up putting my pumping station down here. Oh, some of these intersections turned out kind of ugly. I'm going to redo it. Okay, so that's not close enough for you to connect. Yes, I know. I'll get there. There we go. All right, so now that's connected to the road and has enough water. There we go. That looks a little better. And finally, sewage. So a good sewage network is essential to the city. If not properly managed, it can have negative effects on the city and its citizens. So sewage pipes are also included in the road network. As clean water is used, it becomes sewage. Sewage outlets expel the wastewater from the water network. So we've got our open flowing water here. Let's drop it right there. Okay, so the sewage outlet doesn't need a road. We can build an individual pipe and connect it to the road. There we go. Okay. So like we did, find the nearest road with the built-in utility network. Sewage piping will be highlighted while the sewage pipe is selected and water and sewage info view is active. We connected the sewage outlet to the road utility network with the sewage pipe. There we go. That's our basics on how to build a city. All right, so we've completed our tasks and we've got the basic knowledge of how to build our first city. So some more tutorials and hints will pop up. I'm going to leave them on just so you guys have, access to be able to see them. If they're annoying, tell me in the comments. I will turn them off. So let's continue with Dandyville here. We've got a nice little infrastructure to get us started. The city service building has no road access. Which one? So this is telling us we can either build a road to it or basically pick it up and move it. Okay, so that's telling us the power line is not connected to the network. So, okay, so I guess that's if we wanted to export power or import power. What service building is not connected to a road network? Upgrading service buildings. This is new. Okay, upgrades provide things such as higher capacity or faster and cleaner services. They're specific to each service building. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so depending on the upgrade, it's added on top of an existing building as an extension or placed on the side as a separate sub-building. Oh, well, this is excellent. So it allows us to... Okay, so it allows us to add things to the building that will help it. So what can I add to the water pumping? An extra pump. Very cool. And the power plant, I imagine, also has them? Seemingly not. Okay. All right. So I don't think that this initial stuff is going to get us out of the hole here. Well, let's give it a go and see what happens. So I'm going to unpause Dandyville for the first time. We'll just play at 1x speed. We've got our first milestone. We're a tiny village. So we got $600,000. What's this? What are these? I guess I'll open the progression panel. Milestones. Okay, so we'll develop to reach the next milestone. Okay, there's a whole bunch. They unlock new features, dev points. I wonder if that's what I saw here. Yep, okay. Ooh, okay, so these are our development points and expansion permits. We've got XP for building city service buildings and their upgrades, signature buildings, and roads. Okay, increasing our population and citizen happiness also grant us XP. All right, we'll receive a monetary reward. Okay, so these development points can be used to unlock advanced services.
This is Second Moon with J. Thomas Hornbuckle. Before we dive into our next selection, I'd like to take a few memento moris to elaborate on the formal structure of the symphonic work. For our newer, less able listeners, first, we will be dancing through the al dente section before entering the slower largo movement, finally, then savoring the vivacious antipasto movement. So, without further ado, let's raise the curtain and begin.
If you're either a musician or a foodie, that was all very funny. All right. Okay, so we use our expansion permits to expand the city borders. And each milestone unlocks new features. Okay. Okay, so we unlocked medium density housing already. Excellent. Some new roads, a bridge. We've got healthcare and death care. Garbage management, a development tree. What do you mean? Oh boy. Okay, so these allow us to access new service buildings and other buildable items for our city using development points. So basic services will be unlocked when you reach new milestones to develop and grow the service further. Unlock the next item. Okay, so we basically have a perk tree here. This is kind of awesome. So each city has its own development tree. Cool, cool, cool. Well, you know the first one I'm going to get is roundabouts. Parking areas, okay. Battery station, gas power plant. Water treatment plant. Oh, did I? Oh, yeah, I guess I did spend all my development points. All right. Recycling. Awesome. All right, so we have our first people moving in here, it looks like. Oh, they're appalled at the healthcare. Oh no. All right. So I wanted to see after all this got built out, what our net was after all the utilities and everything. So here's our little commercial center that got built up. We've got a gas station, a couple little shopping areas, looks like a fast food chain, a toy store, yeah, a pharmacy, little furniture shop. So nice little shopping place for our little neighborhood to start using. Okay, so we're producing more than enough power, and we've got way more than enough water. About 4 times as much as we currently need. Okay. So we can see down here in our demand, we have a high demand for both low and medium density residential, and a high demand for more commercial. Our industry also filled out nicely. Okay, so I need to get to milestone 3 to get to specialized industry. I like to try to get that as fast as possible because we can start doing stuff that doesn't pollute as much as this, and it'll be a faster move to green energy. All right. So first, let's build another little shopping center on the other side of the road so we can expand our neighborhood. We're going to use the 2-lane roads. I'm going to try to mirror it at least a little bit. That doesn't look horrendous. Build some more low density commercial over here. Oh, before that builds too much. Sorry, y'all. I know I just built you. So what we're going to do over here is make another nice little neighborhood. We've got the demand for it. And I'm thinking maybe parallel to the main road here, we'll do our first medium density. Let's get some medium density housing up here. Then I'm going to do an offshoot road. What happened to you? It's in the wrong zone. Oh, geez. That was interesting. Oh, it's because of the elevation. Okay. So you can see our demand quickly shrinking here for everything but industrial. Sit for a second and watch our new commercial pop up. So I'm on medium settings right now. I'm getting really good frames, so I'm going to see how high graphics quality is for that. I'm running a 4070 Ti, so I'm hoping it should be okay. Where'd all our trees go? There they are. We've built a new gas station. Check chirper here. That's cool. Bumper fuel. Yeah, changing to high settings, my frames are still fine, so let's keep it there. Looks better. All right. We'll chill here for a second, watch this get built up. Anyone notice there's no housing available anywhere? Well, you don't have a whole lot of demand for housing, folks. Let's check out the new bar opening up at 278 Fawn Street, the Crazy Calibri, under construction. While they're working on that, we can expand our industrial center a little bit. Give them a little bit more space there. They're opening a grind-a-rock warehouse. Alright, I wanted to mess with this theme editor a little bit. I was looking at it a second ago. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, so right now it's all set to North American. And yeah, these are cool. These are like row houses you would see in, St. Louis or New Orleans. They've got some excellent motorcycles. He's zooming. Just wait until I unlock all the beautification stuff. Alright, so our low density demand is growing quickly as well as our commercial demand here. So we've got this medium density stuff here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a buffer road behind them. Connect that back here as well. And then we'll do some more low density commercial back here. I'm going to connect this straight to that. Actually, I'm going to use the straight road just to keep it perfect. And then that's not a bad spot to connect an intersection there too. Set up a couple more medium densities there. I know there's no demand for it right now, but it'll look good in that little corner. And then we'll finish out our low density neighborhood over here. Do a little triangle here. I was trying to see if I could nicely connect that. Let's curve it. Exceeds city limits. What? There we go. I don't know why these are getting condemned. That's weird. Oh, this is great. This is going to let us do our little cul-de-sacs in a perfect round way where I don't have to mess with it for moments at a time. Okay, so we do have healthcare unlocked. All right. So yeah, they don't have any healthcare access. So let's go ahead and build them a
You're listening to Second
clinic.
Moon, the epitome of classical listening at home.
Epitome?
Or wherever you roam.
A housing shortage is driving up prices in the area.
That's right, Glenda. But apparently, that's not all good news. We're joined today by an expert guest, Professor Nutbutter.
Welcome, Professor. So a housing shortage is bad for the people trying to move here, right?
Humans are programmed to desire certain representations within ideological reward structures, which are entirely apart from the actual rewards enjoyed. For example, consider capital.
One final question, Professor. Is the housing shortage going to make me richer?
By certain metrics, perhaps yes, in the short term.
I like the sound of that.
But what we are discussing is the study of a statistical abstraction and its effect on the human
Thank
psyche.
you, Professor.
It is a question of priorities.
All right. So, while the professor was talking, I did go ahead and build Dandyville, its first medical clinic. All right. So we're not going to have to worry too much about death yet, but you definitely want to build a cemetery before it's a big problem. So maybe we'll go ahead and put our cemetery out here by the river. I know it's kind of a long trip from here to all the way out here, but I wanted to avoid destroying any of these trees if I could. I love this modular building system. That's so cool. All right, so we have a lot of commercial demand and a lot of industrial demand. So it seems like I am going to have to build a couple more polluting factories before I can get to forestry and farming. So, oh, there's a good chunk of XP. Let's check out our, okay, so our groundwater's here and here. So this chunk here should still be okay for me to build industry. Or I can continue it back here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's continue it behind the power plant here. This I am just kind of building in an ugly grid because eventually the idea is to either heavily upgrade it or get rid of it once we have some clean industry. All right, so there's a little more. Let's see how that does them. Got more businesses opening. And then I actually have room for I was gonna mess with is it said that I could turn off zoning. It said that I could turn off zoning for roads. How do I do that? So I was going to see if I could turn off the zoning for this road. I would think it would be in the road menu. Because what I was hoping to do was add another commercial zone to this road here. Let's look real quick. Alt-click on a segment. Okay. Trying that. Well, that didn't work. I totally thought that I could. Maybe I can't. I might be completely mistaken in seeing that. But no bother. So let's go ahead and delete this strip of road because we don't need it. Maybe I'll end up putting a park there or something. That'd be pretty. Don't have that unlocked yet. Oh, here we go. I do want to beautify these a little bit. Let's get some nice trees. It said they actually grow over time, which is awesome. And get some flower bushes. Eventually I'll be able to put... Oh, place multiple. Oh my goodness. Ah! Alright, let's try. Well, that'll be cool. Maybe we'll do some oak trees through here. And then eventually I'll place a park. How much money are we losing? Okay. Alright, so let's fill the rest of this out here with commercial. Yeah, that's gonna pop up quick. Our demand was almost full. Oh, and then we wanted to make this another low density zone over here. And as much as I hate to do it, this one house is going to get bulldozed. Sorry, guys. It's for the greater good. And then let's make a little offshoot neighborhood. So what I'm actually going to make here is another low density neighborhood. Let's try out the freeform road. Then I want to create some winding paths. This tool is really good. It's way better than it was in Cities 1. So this is going to allow us to create kind of like a rural little neighborhood. And then we'll do a park in the middle of this eventually. How are we looking for power and water? Okay, we're still great on power, still great on water. Excellent. We do need some garbage management. We're making 44 tons a month. So they send out trucks that collect waste from around the city and bring it back for processing. Collected garbage is stored in the dumping area. Okay, so we build a landfill and then we make a lot for it. So I'm gonna check that groundwater again all the way up here. Okay, so back corner of our map here can be our landfill. Okay, 354 tons. And I imagine we can expand that, but good enough to start. Oh, that was expensive. Waiting for a hearse. I got people dying already. Okay, so maybe what I need to do is go ahead and connect via 4-lane. Oh, I don't want to go through the trees though. Maybe we could do one of these. I'm gonna have to destroy a couple trees, I'm sorry. Milestone level 2, small village. All right, let's check out our progression. All right, so we've got basic education services. I do want to go ahead and get the recycling center. Okay. All right. So now we've got a 4-lane connecting to our riverfront.
You're back with Second Moon Radio, your second musical home from home. So settle back in your chair, pour yourself a glass, and prepare for another hour of musical delight. Tonight we are doing a musical tour of Italia, land of art and culture. Que bon, as they say. And an aria inspired by the infamous Vivaldi shall be our guide.
A housing shortage is driving up prices.
Keep
in the
talking about a
area.
housing
That's right,
shortage.
Glenda. But apparently that's not all good news. We're joined today by an expert guest, Professor Nutbutter.
Welcome, Professor. So a housing shortage is bad for the people.
I feel like we
trying
just
to
heard
move
this
there,
one.
right?
Humans are programmed to desire certain representations within ideological reward structures, which are entirely apart from the actual rewards enjoyed. For example, consider capital.
One final question, Professor. Is the housing shortage going to make me richer?
By certain metrics, perhaps yes, in the short term.
I like the sound of that.
But what we are discussing is the study of a statistical abstraction and its effect on the human
Thank you, Professor.
It is a question of priorities.
Well, it was good to hear that one again. All right, so this is probably the last thing we'll set up in this episode here. Breakdown on education. It provides citizens with schools, colleges, and universities. That affects the job positions they can get and their income level. They have different preferences. So their education is separated into 5 levels, ranging from uneducated to highly educated. The education path is the citizen's schooling from the lowest level to the highest level. All right, so our first step here is the elementary school. So let's get that right here on our 4-lane. It's okay to put stuff like this on the 4-lane because it is not going to hugely increase traffic. And then let's go ahead and get the high school down as well. That's big, isn't it? Can you fit on our riverfront road? Yes. That's cool. Then what kind of extra buildings are there? A playground. A clinic. Let's go ahead and build the playground and the clinic. We'll build the sports field. Oh, this is so cool. Can I rotate it? Oh, okay. A library. Let's build the library. And that gets us halfway to level 3. There's both of our schools built. That looks awesome. And we'll get some more trees planted in here when I have the beautification options extended. I don't know why that's getting condemned. All right, let's extend our little Main Street grid here. And then I'm going to, merge it into this road here. So these little curved lines in my road building tool are showing me where the zones are going to be. That's really cool. All right, and then let's bring this straight up through there and connect back here. This is a nice little, like, old town. So once the city expands a little bit, this will be kind of the historic district. All right, so we have our row houses. Let's do some apartments in the middle. And then I'll maybe do some more row houses on the outside. And And then we'll want some commercial. And then let's see what happens with that, and then we'll fill out the rest of that there. I'm curious to see what these apartment buildings look like. Okay, so I think I see what's happening with this. It's buildings that like don't fit, and then deleting them because it realizes that they don't fit. At least I think that's what's happening. It's not horribly encumbering. I wish it wasn't happening, but that's okay. Oh, pedestrian paths. Okay, so these are pathways for pedestrians. We can build nature trails or scenic routes between buildings. They connect to a sidewalk. That's cool. All right. This is our first nighttime, isn't it? Get a nice little view here. Whoops. Not of the pause screen. This is neat. This is kind of exactly the type of houses I wanted to see in this little area. You know, modulars, manufactured homes, things like that. Then we have our row houses with some basic commercial. Our apartment buildings are under construction. And our schools are slowly getting some good students. All right, guys. I think this is a good place for us to go ahead and cut episode 1. We're about 3/4 of the way or 2/3 of the way to level 3, where we'll be able to start diving into some more mechanics. So appreciate you guys hanging out with me here for the first episode of Cities Skylines. I have been Dandelions, and I will see you on the next one. Thank y'all so much. Bye-bye.